Hey, today I'm talking about my 200th movie of the year, as well as the 199th and 201st movie of the year. But the 200th movie of the year, what? That's crazy. But the names of all three movies are Lucky Number Slevin, Rounders, and G.O.R.A. First up is Lucky Number Slevin. This is a 2006 movie starring Josh Hartnett and Bruce Willis and like a million other people. It has so many actors you know in it. One of whom is Lucy Liu. And while watching the movie, I was like, wow, I think this is like the youngest I've ever seen Lucy Liu. She looks so young here. It's crazy. And then I realized this movie actually came out like after all of the other movies I've seen her in. So no, this is not the oldest I've seen Lucy Liu. This is kind of the oldest I've seen Lucy Liu. So that just goes to show how well she ages. Good job, Lucy Liu. You're adorable. The basic premise is it's a cool, stylized gangster, assassin, mystery thing that's very, very of its time. It is so mid-2000s, it kind of hurts a little bit, but it's actually pretty great. The movie tries so damn hard to beat you over the head with how clever it's being. It's just like, hey guys, I'm being clever, right? I'm so clever. Look at me, I'm clever, guys. Look at this, I'm so clever. And it's like, just shut up, movie. Yes, you're being clever. You don't need to shove it down our throats how freaking clever you are. You're good. It is clever and it's smart at times. And it's like, I'm enjoying this, but just stop it. But yeah, this movie was good. It was enjoyable. I definitely recommend it if that sounds like something you're interested in. I would describe it as like a Saturday afternoon movie. Just kind of like, you want something on. You don't have to 100% pay attention to, but if you do 100% pay attention to it, you're going to be rewarded a little bit more. But it's not a big deal if you don't. Yeah. Next up is Rounders. This is a 1998 Matt Damon film, my third Matt Damon film. It also features Edward Norton and like a bajillion other actors. It has so many actors you know in it. The basic premise is it's about poker. It's about a bunch of guys who play poker and kind of make a living off of poker. That's what a rounder is someone who makes their living just playing poker. But Matt Damon's also going to law school. Ooh, is there some drama there? Yes, there is. Now, if I were to ignore the fact that this movie is about gambling, which poker is gambling, and just look at it as just like just a regular sports movie, it's great. It's so good. I would easily put this in the really liked category. It doesn't do any beats that are unexpected, but it does them in a way that's very satisfying. They do them well. You know, Matt Damon's great, Edward Norton's great, all the other actors are so good. You're left the movie feeling satisfied. Satisfied is the perfect word for this movie. It's just, yes, we're good. That was good. But I can't ignore the gambling because it's gambling. Because of that, I have to bring this movie down a lot because they very much so romanticize it. For a decent amount of the movie, they actually do a good job of treating it like the addiction it is. It has the person that Matt Damon, after a very bad incident, he quit it cold turkey and then made a deal with his partner to never play it again. But then he starts hiding it from his partner and doing it in secret. And then he starts doing that and it starts slowly ruining his life. The things he cares about. It ruins his relationship. It ruins his career directory. It ruins other relationships. And it's like, yeah, this is an addiction. Side effects of addiction are happening. That's great. I really love it. But then at one point, his mentor character gives him a big speech about following your dreams, ignoring what other people say or feel. If it feels right to you, just go for it. And I'm like, no, this is an addiction. You're really enabling him. Stop it. And then the movie ends with a very happy ending. And it's like, no, this is an addiction. his character shouldn't have the happy-go-lucky ending. If what happened to Matt Damon's character is more similar to what happened to Edward Norton's character, where lots of bad stuff happened, then I could have easily kept this movie in the really liked category, because addiction doesn't lead to good outcomes. I know people can very passionately argue about gambling not being an addiction, how poker isn't gambling, how poker isn't an addiction, how gambling isn't an addiction, how poker isn't an addiction, how poker isn't gambling, all that stuff. They do say some of those points in the movie. And I will agree, at a certain level, poker can be a skill-based game. That being said, you're still gambling. Like, the start of the movie is the perfect example of it's still gambling. Matt Damon lost like $46,000 at the beginning of the movie. And yeah, it's skill-based, but he still gambled away a shit ton of money. He was in the wrong the entire movie. Because of my hatred of gambling, I have to bring this movie down. But the movie was done so well that I can't put it that low. So it's in the liked category, at the top of the liked category, because it is a very, very well done movie, but I can't in good faith put a movie that romanticizes gambling that high up on my list. It's just, no. It's good though. And I do recommend it. Whatever. And lastly is Gara. This is a 2004 Turkish film. I recently was talking to a Turkish cosplayer, that just kind of happened, and I asked for a recommendation for some Turkish films, and this is one that she recommended. And I took one look at that poster and was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. But it was on Netflix, so it was super easy to access. And I was like, you know what, let's just give it a chance. It might not be what you think it's gonna be. It wasn't what I thought it would be. It was kind of worse than what I thought it would be. Which, it hurts me to say this, because like someone was kind enough to take time out of their day to recommend something to me. And I am so appreciative of that gesture that I wanted to give this movie such a fair chance. And I just couldn't. I couldn't stand this movie. I hated the main character so much. And also, like, it was clear that jokes were just constantly happening, but I was like, none of these things are funny, and it's actually really annoying, and I can't stand anything that's happening, nor does anything that's happening really make a ton of sense. Like, I get what's happening, but I don't really get what's happening. And it was so bad. It's kind of just like a sci-fi parody movie, and I didn't really get to a ton of the parody stuff. I took a pause of the movie at what I thought was the halfway mark, but was actually the quarter-way mark, and I was like, oh no, I don't think I can take 3/4 more of what's happened. This is just not good. I don't recommend it, but if you think you can get through it, I would say give it a try. If this feels like it might be your jam, go for it. But don't blame me if you end up hating yourself. And also, don't be afraid to just shut it off if it hurts you in some way. You can walk away from the pain. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. So again, just as a reminder, all three of these are old movies, so all of the rankings are on the old movie ranking list. First up, we got lucky number Slevin, sitting at number 41 in the quite like section. It is so close to the really like section, but I just couldn't quite push it over, and it just, I think on rewatch, it's gonna be in the quite like section, because it's a damn good movie, man. And then after that is Rounders, sitting in the liked section at number 84. Again, it's near the top of the liked section. And then bringing up the rear, rightfully so, painfully rightfully so, is Gara, sitting at number 163 in the didn't liked category. And this is out of a total of 170 old movies so far this year, and out of a grand total of 201 movies so far this year.